Well, we look at the unreasonable facts by our friends from US, from the UK, and from France. They said that they have undeniable facts and approved to show that in Duma and another place in Syria that the government has used the chemical weapons against the civilians. We have heard of the same thing 1 year ago, and also the critics from the American people. They said that in some places of Syria, there have been conflicts involving the chemical weapons. And some other people have considered the clips of video as undeniable facts. Actually, we should send a group of fact-finding people, experts in field to do the investigation. However, they have not succeeded in their visit. And later we have another finding. The people from UK and France, they have extracted some samples and they have run some tests. And they said it's from the sarin agent. And then we went up to the people from UK and France to ask about the methods by which they have obtained the samples. We visited London and then Paris. We asked some questions. Actually, they should secure the work of the experts in place, and then they should run the tests for the chemical agents. And then they said that is not necessary because they have already obtained the results and facts. And then we asked about the possibility of the sharing of these results, and they said that those results are confidential ones and not allowed to be shared. And for the city of Duma, they said that they have also obtained the samples of the chemical agents from the place. This is a reason upon which they have justified their strike. And the French President Emmanuel Macron said there is a fact to prove that there exists the chemical weapon in Duma, and this chemical weapon belongs to Bashar al-Assad. And he has also communicated with the US president. And then our President Putin has also asked for an information sharing from the side of Macron, the French president. However, from their response, they said it's confidential and they would not like to share it with us. However, those people who would not like to share the secrets with us have used, on the contrary, those facts or the so-called results to support their own airstrikes. Several days ago, the fact-finding team from the international organization has already arrived in Beirut in order to carry on an investigation, and they are heading toward the city of Duma. Later we will continue to discuss about this topic. We really hope that this fact-finding team would arrive in place. There's another similarity between today's event and those events 1 year ago. It's that by the 4th of April, after the outbreak of One News from the organization, I received a phone call. People said that those chemical weapons are dropped by the missiles. The missile planes have took off from one airport, and later they said that we could make a visit to that airport. However, before our arrival, they have already begun this airstrike. And 3 days before this attack, the representatives from the embassy of the U.S. has also came to us for information sharing. Our military and chemical experts, they said that they have investigated the scene of the strike, but they have discovered nothing. So it's a good idea to see whether we could do something with the U.S. experts. But later, during the discussion over the phone between the U.S. president and the French president said that he has zero doubt about the fact about this attack using the chemical weapons. So we have proposed a in-field investigation. Between the two Ministries of National Defense, we also welcome communication and exchanges. However, nobody contacted the Ministry of Defense of our country, nor the military side. And just a few days later, we have had this attack. We are still not very sure about the fact of the existence of the chemical weapons. However, they said that it's totally 100% of they said it's 100% sure, so they have launched the airstrike. So we hope that we could focus on these facts, including the other elements, and the so-called Sritar poisoning incident. And our colleagues from the U.S. side have also refused to give us an answer. We have raised the questions different times, but they always refuse to give us answers. One thing is important, is that we have asked for one thing. We want to know whether it is for sure when there is the chemical weapons. From the U.S. side, they say that they want us to accept the explanation that there may be some leaks of the neural agents. I've received a clue here saying that Damascus has refused the entrance of the fact-finding team from OPCW. Actually, it's not true. The government of Syria welcomes the arrival of the fact-finding team because we have the proof from the government of Bashar al-Assad, because they have issued a visa to all the aspects from the fact-finding teams. We could also refer to some other events in the past. For the UK side, they have invited experts from the OPCW, saying that in the future they would deliver relevant information. The information sharing could be made by some brochures or reports. First of all, it may be a preliminary briefing and later more detailed reports. In this report, it is proved that the material offered by the UK side and also obtained independently by the expert doesn't contain the early mentioned neural agents. We have studied the chemical formula of this material. This material exists in a lot of countries. It's not a secret agent. And I have also mentioned other examples. People are saying that it's confidential information, so it's not allowed to circulate those information towards our side. It's a question of survival and death. However, for our side, it's not the confidentiality issue. Once we have the information, we'd like to share it with the others. In a particular circumstances, we have received the information that a chemical study center has accomplished their analysis on the samples by the 27th of March. These samples are obtained by professional experts who are working hard on the analysis. And finally, we have obtained the results, and they have later sent the results of the analysis to the Organization for the Prohibition of Chemical Weapons. According to this test and analysis, we have found a poisonous element. According to the Treaty of the Prohibition of Chemical Weapons, this material, this poisonous element, belongs to the category 2. After the utilization of this poisonous element, the effects will come in 36 hours to 48 hours. In the international community, there's a tendency that we are forbidding the utilization of these agents. This element is called A203. Its degree of toxicity is not very high. To a certain degree of concentration, it's not that toxic. However, when it arrives at a rather high degree of concentration, then it's very poisonous. During the incident in the UK, there's slight possibility of the existence of the A204. Yulia has already left the hospital, but we cannot get to her. According to the analysis, it's the agent called BZ that has been used. So we have raised a question towards the OPCW. We'd like to know that for this kind of information, reflecting the point of view from the Swiss experts are not included in their final report. If it is OPCW who would like to deny the fact, then we'd like to have an explanation for that denial. And that's my point of view on that issue. And I hope that we could talk about some other long-term issues, including the issues for the current moment and for the near future. And I also hope that the journalists and friends from the press would bring the authentic facts to the audience. And I also would like to thank the minister and thank the representatives from the press. Just now I was told that for the airstrike on Syria, there is an information sharing by the organization, and later we'd like to hear more communication and information sharing from the other attendees.